help your old generation and help your younger generation as well. So honestly, this is just want to say, help your country, because if you support immigration people, we'll be here only for a while. After that, we'll come back in our country.
Dean, why are you here?
Why I'm here? I'm here for a better life. That's the reason why I'm here.
And that's not a wrong reason to come to a country, is it?
No, it's not. It's not the wrong reason. But if I'm here I work, I do pay all my tax. That's really nice. That's really nice for me. I think everything is alright, you know. But I shouldn't be allowed to take any benefits. I shouldn't be allowed. And I do think as well, as I said, I must pay for NHS. I must pay for NHS.
What, forever?
No, at least for 3-4 years, you know.
I see. So until you've paid some in, I mean, it's like joining other clubs or whatever it might be, until you've paid your dues, you don't get anything out of it, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
That's right.
Lastly, there's a lot of concern, a lot of anxiety of what might happen in the early part of next year when these restrictions are lifted on Romanians and Bulgarians. There's suggestions that thousands will come here. What do you think will happen?
Will be horrible. I do know people from my country, from my town. Usually on my town we do have a lot of kids. I'm coming from a family with 12 kids, with same mother and same father. And this is some usually on my country. And they will be here, guys. They will be here next year. And we are here, we must learn a bit English. I don't want to say my English is good, it's not, it's just rubbish. But they will be here because they know very well everything is for free on this country. If they just told me.
All right. Dean, we'll have to see if those words turn out to be true. Thanks for your input. Look after yourself. Pretty strong words there, particularly as he's Romanian himself. You shouldn't be given any health care. Janice is in Chislehurst. Janice, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Nick.
Hello. Can you tell me?
Well, I was, at the last general election, I fought a Yorkshire seat for the Conservative Party.
Did
I
you?
was a Conservative Party candidate.
Which seat did you fight?
Oh, it was Batley and Spen. We held it in, we lost it in 1997. It was Elizabeth Peacock,
Right.
who was a bit of a rebel. And it was a target seat, it was a top target seat, and the Conservatives back then had to win that seat to form the next government. Of course, we didn't.
No.
And because we didn't win, I keep saying we, didn't we? I've been with UKIP for 2 years, but in my mind, I'm still a real Conservative.
I see.
And because Cameron didn't win Eastleigh, he's not going to win the next general election, and that's he's got to win 20. Lib Dem seats, and that's not going to happen.
So, the last general election you went in... Had you fought other seats before they...
No, I hadn't. No, I'd been behind the scenes.
OK.
Yeah.
They must have thought a lot of you.
I was on the so-called A-list, which I had to fight to get on, because I wasn't one of the sort of the Cameroon women, so I had to use my influence...
When you say, what were the Cameroon... I know what they were, but what did it take to become one of those? What were they looking for?
You had to shut up on Europe, you had to shut up on immigration, you had to shut up on grammar schools. I educated my children in Kent, I brought them up in Kent, and I sent my children to grammar schools. I was a working-class girl.
Right.
I grew up in south-east London, not far from where you live. I went to Blackheath and Bluecoat.
Right, I know.
So I lived in social housing. And
did your kids go to Chisholm Sid?
Sorry?
Did your kids go to Chisholm Sid Grammar?
No, Maidstone Grammar.
I see.
Yeah,
okay. So you're a big fan of grammar schools, then?
Oh, absolutely. And I was hauled into Conservative Central Office on a number of occasions where a certain MP, who's now dead, would bang his desk and say, "You will not talk about Europe. You will not talk about immigration."
If he's dead, you can tell me who it was.
Oh, it's John Maples.
Right, okay.
And so he was head of the candidates. And he had an absolute fit of those candidates that signed up to the campaign group Better Off Out. And he told me, he said, your CV will not be put forward for safe seats unless you shut up on Europe. So
how did you get the key seat, one of the key marginals then?
It was before, because I shut up on those issues, and I thought, right, I just got to bide my time. But when I was knocking on doors, and if a constituency office who were interviewing me for a safe seat asked me my views, I would say my views.
Right.
And sometimes the party officials used to sit there and squirm in their seats, and other times they say to me, thoroughly agree with you. And so the electorate out there. And I did, Nick. UKIP stood down against me at the last election. There was an unofficial pact behind the scenes that Cameron probably knows about. But yes, I did sign a pact with UKIP, and they stood down against me.
Did you think you'd done enough on the night?
Yeah, actually, do you know, I can beat myself up about an awful lot of things, and I'm hard on myself, but the Tories actually said to me, you run one of the best campaigns, no candidate could have done more. And what I did, I reduced the incumbents' majority by by half, but it wasn't enough to do, because we had that Lib Dem surge, we had that Clegg surge, and the Liberal Democrats were nowhere in the seat, and all of a sudden they got 9,000 and they stopped me going to Parliament.
What do you do now for a living?
What do I do now? I've got a small company called GoTradeLive.com, which is, if you think about eBay, it's a closed eBay for business. There's a business platform. I also write occasionally for the Daily Express, Huffington Post, Daily Mail, do a few media appearances.
Okay. So you're a journo as well. And now you're in UKIP?
I am, yes.
Because?
I'm really happy. Because I wasn't allowed to talk about immigration. I wasn't allowed to talk about Europe, grammar schools. When Cameron committed to 0.7% of our GDP being spent on overseas aid, no, I'm happy. I mean, gay marriage was a breaker as well. Let's clarify that one. I'm not. I have no religious affiliations. I'm an atheist, so I don't bang the drum for religion. But what is totally wrong is that we've still got hate laws in this country. And if the imams and the rabbis and the priests on a Sunday, Saturday or Friday morning stand up and say gay marriage is wrong, then they're going to be arrested and they're going to be put in jail. And it's wrong and disingenuous for Cameron to turn around and say, look, we're going to allow religious institutions not to marry gay people. But he'll be overruled by the European Court of Human Rights. It's all those things that have come together that I just said, no, I'm sorry, I can't stay in the Tory party under Cameron.
You'll fight the next general election then for UKIP?
Hopefully, yes.
You don't know where you'll be yet? They haven't sorted anything like that?
No, we're still working out the rules for selection for the EU, for the MEPs. Yes, I'll probably stand against Bob Neal around here if UKIP would like me, but I'd also quite like to go to Europe.
Oh, OK. Lastly, if UKIP couldn't win last night in Eastleigh, and no one's saying they didn't put up a good performance, of course they did, but if they couldn't deliver with the Lib Dems and the Conservatives in this fairly brutal coalition, when are they going to win?
As Mike Hookham, who I know quite well, was speaking to you beforehand, our spread of vote is even across the country, and what you have to have is activists. You have to have activists and councillors. What we have to do is work from grassroots. So we have to get activists out to get the council seats, like the Lib Dems did. We've also, I was always a great proponent of proportional representation, but the single transferable vote. And I used to head up a campaign group called Conservative Action for Electoral Reform. Until we actually have a form of PR, then it's going to be very difficult under first-past-the-post system. But what we need to do is, like the Greens did down in Brighton, we need to really concentrate on a seat. We've shown in the past, over the past 18 months, winning, beating the Liberal Democrats in places like Rotherham, Corby,
you didn't beat them in Eastleigh lastly.
1,000 votes, Nick. 1,000 votes.
Well, it's more like
and you think about where we've come from.
Yeah, but it wouldn't. Ultimately, it doesn't matter with the system we got. It doesn't matter if it's one vote. You still didn't win.
No, but we came second, and we've halved the Tory vote, and we're nipping at the UKIP's heels. It's the Lib Lab Con, the Social Democrats. There's nothing between them, and it's not just about Europe now. It's about all those other things.
Janice, good luck with whatever seat you get selected to fight. I think you will be a very, very worthy campaigner. Good luck to you. We'll return to this conversation. Also coming.